Hey everyone, Sweet Will here to talk to you about the new Guild Wars 2 content and some of what may or may not be coming with the new expansion, Secrets of the Obscure. It looks great and the devs announced a lot of new stuff in it, from combat changes, mounts, and of course the new expansion itself. They even gave us enough information so that we don't have to speculate about a ton of crazy stuff like how the Eye of Janthir's pissed off older sibling is going to come and kill us in a blind act of revenge. Or Mingus coming to Tyria to do whatever it is that Mingus does. But most importantly, the classic question of, where the hell is Zoja? We'll get to that last bit, but first let's talk about some things that we do know for sure. We're traveling to a place called Amnitis. I don't know how to pronounce that, they haven't told me, but it's just below the planet's atmosphere, and is the home of the mysterious and never-before-seen Wizard's Court in the Astral Ward. A society unknown to Tyria, with the only hint of its existence being the Wizard's Tower in Keswick's Hills that we've all been marveling at and wondering about for the last 11 years in Guild Wars 2, and even longer if you played Guild Wars 1. We'll finally learn what that tower's all about, and maybe we'll find out where it disappeared to in the trailer too. The announcement mentions that the Wizard's Court has been fighting for Tyria's safety from afar, but that's wild because what's so dangerous that you can't be bothered to come down from your ivory sky tower to help deal with the freaking Elder Dragons? And where do they even get their fighting forces from? Well, my theory is based on how Isgarin, the Wizard of the Tower, invites people of Garenhof to the tower and they never return. This announcement makes me think that we can probably assume the people of Garenhof that never came back were actually fighting the good fight and keeping Tyria safe this whole time, and not being used as lab rats for some heinous experiments. But maybe Isgarin isn't as benevolent as we think. There have been some wonderings from villagers, particularly Tilly, who wonders if all of Isgarin's elementals are sometimes angry because they're being forced to serve against their will. The town guard thinks that he hears inhuman screaming, and folks, what if those people that Isgarin takes are being turned into earth elementals against their will? This next part contains heavy and recent spoilers as of June 27, 2023, so if you don't want that, go ahead and skip over to 4 minutes and 55 seconds. After the end of Dragon's Interlude, where you interact with Aurene, Garenhof changes. If you return there, you'll find next to nothing. Many of the named citizens are gone. Tilly, Clandant, Lucy, Sable, Dylan, Marielle, Felna, and Gabriette. All of the Earth Elementals are gone. Even the tower. All of it's just gone. The mayor feels like a fraud for lying to the people about knowing Isgarin personally and saying he had been in contact with him. He also expresses concern over the fact that they've been sending people to the tower for generations and have never even once heard back. The town guard wonders how he'll protect the town with just himself, the master elementalist, and the elementalist's elemental. Lasha tells us that she feels lost and some villagers are genuinely concerned for Isgarin's safety, and others feel abandoned. Of course, they're all wondering what's going on, and maybe they can't agree on what is happening, but they can definitely all agree on one thing. The tower was there one moment, and it was seemingly gone the next. A young human girl named April questions a villager, but we can't interact with her, so I'm willing to bet that she'll play a more important role later on. But, folks, I mentioned people that are no longer in Garenhof, but they were, just recently. No one in town seems to be talking about them, but what if they were taken by the elementals during the Exodus? I mean, I highly doubt Lucy actually went and joined the carnival in Divinity's Reach like she said she would. And Clandant was talking about body snatchings before he was seemingly body snatched. This also might conflict with our initial thoughts on the tower exploding and actually causing problems during the trailer. But who knows? All of this happened so smoothly, so seamlessly, and oh so sneakily. Well done, Anet. Well done. Years ago, the developers mentioned that the tower in Keswick's Hills and Wizard's Folly in pre-Searing Ascalon aren't related at all, but I still have hope that maybe they were lying to us. You see, in the original Guild Wars, we go to Wizard's Folly, which is a giant tower that's chained to the surrounding mountains, and we go in order to learn from a master elementalist. It's nowhere to be found after the Searing, and my guess is that much like the Keswick's tower, this one can also move, and it evaded the catastrophic Searing that would have destroyed it. It could have even happened in a similar fashion to how the Keswick's tower just bounced and blew up. And if the Wizard's Folly left a wave of destruction afterward, what better cover than the freaking Searing, right? Again, the devs said years ago that the two were unrelated, but much like Wizard's Folly, the only person in Garenhof with a profession designation is a Master Elementalist. And if we're talking about places that living wizards hang out, and there have only been like 2 in the whole game ever, there has to be some relationship, at least between Wizard's Folly and Amnitas. And I'm only saying this because Wizard's Folly has kept me in suspense for the last 18 years, but I digress because we're meeting some new demons from the Mists in this expansion too. They're called Cryptus, and they are bad news because they want to corrupt everything and make you think that Bram has been cool this entire time. Okay, look, I don't know if that's true, but they're definitely going to be formidable enemies, because, y'all, if they are anything like the concept art, they're going to make Malix the Unyielding look like Malix the Chump Supreme, and Malix is a beefy dude. I'm also curious to see if the demon Oni in the Gayala episodes is related to the Cryptus somehow, and if so, will the Cryptus also prey upon emotions? So, demons aside, I am really stoked for the Sky Island arc of One Piece. I mean, Guild Wars 2. We get to learn about a portion of Tyria's history that's completely unknown. And you might be thinking, well, we won't see anything from the human gods, will we? Well, folks, I think you might want to rethink that based on this. It looks like a forged stronghold with a giant Balthazar greatsword, so it makes me wonder if we're going to see anything to do with Lissa or Mingus, or, you know, maybe we'll go to the Fissure of Woe in this expansion, or hell, maybe we'll even see Balthazar himself. It could be worse, yeah, we didn't have any rough times with him. This one's kind of a reach, but I'll go with it. Stars are pretty nifty, and that portal in the trailer makes me think about the lore of the ancient Jotun from before the previous Dragon Cycle. You know, the ones whose power rivaled the human gods because they were so advanced and magically adept. Well, they used this thing called the Mystic Telescope to see the cosmos and predict a lot of things, and the human gods actually stole it and took it to Ara. But who knows what the ancient Jotun saw? I'd love for us to gain some more knowledge and insight about the things that they saw and just general knowledge that they had. Now, speaking of ancient races, is that a seer? I know it's not cropped very well, but I'm excited because we haven't seen a living seer since the Ancient Seer of the original Guild Wars. The Ancient Seer was instrumental in our victory over the Mersat, as it gave us infused armor that would allow us to fight them. Could there have been more of them that are members of the secret society high above Tyria for all this time? I would love that, but it could also just be a djinn, and that would be really boring. And I'm a speculative optimist, so I'm gonna keep my optimism. The potential for all of this is just so good. New enemies, new places, and oh my god, it's Zoja. Was Zoja just off being a wizard without even telling us? Wow, that's really honestly rude. But hey, at least we have her back with all of her snarky and rude comments. I mean, look at that snarky and rude little face. I'm just so excited. Seriously, y'all, I am beyond stoked for all of this new content. And I would love to hear some of your thoughts and speculations in the comments, so be sure to comment, like, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Alright y'all, I will see you next time.